Good evening, how are you? Well, I'm out for my walk. I'm back from Graves Mountain. Marvelous place to have training sessions. The bandwidth problem was somewhat ameliorated. And Jefferson tells me that the temperature right now is 72. Humidity is 38 and the wind's 2 miles an hour. It's very comfortable. So I'm regrouping myself between my work and my obsession about what is our political status right now. And I have my favorite speakers, and they tend to be those who, in some way or other, take on the characteristics that Kamala feels so strongly about, which is when we fight, we win. And that's a very different notion than saying, love our neighbors. And that's not to say there aren't neighbors we can love. But if you were to take the inverse proportion of the distance between Trump and any such person who's a neighbor that we could embrace, you have to go quite some distance, in my opinion, from his centerpiece of maggots and him holding his campaign from down at Mar-a-Lago. And so we have to watch this very carefully. Now I took today as kind of a symbol. As I was getting a cup of coffee, a woman was standing there dressed entirely in white. And I didn't ask her because, I don't know, it just felt impolite. I didn't want to intrude because she was sipping coffee and looking out at the greenery. But I wanted to ask her, was she united in thought and dress at this distance from Chicago because it was a great evening event for women, an historic event. And I thought some things you can observe and believe without confirming, and this was one of them. No, it's just possible that the entire outfit was white. It was a very clear whiteness, and it was well tailored. And we were at a place where, except for myself, everybody was wearing jeans and work shirts and t-shirts and caps. And because these people work in the field all the time, and my feeling was I should get out more than I do, although I do get out, but not as much as these men and women do. And it was interesting to be surrounded by so many people who are concerned about our soil and water and are studying it and going out without being known to many people for the function they serve, as they not only bring to its skill, but we also have money from various sources to underwrite what we call best management practices to protect soil and water. Now, I think that plays directly into what we're talking about in politics, which is, do we have people who are interested in service and empathetic with others and are helping them? And by my observation, watching these young men and women mostly study and have these sessions, training sessions that I attended, and listen to them talk about how they accomplish the mission of protecting soil and water and dealing with livestock, keeping them out of the waters and so forth, was what we're looking for in a much more visible and much more demanding position as President of the United States. So the woman in white makes me think this is a day for all women, because this is a day in which we push back. And the irony of it is that one of our strongest issues are those revolving about using the Supreme Court, putting hacks on it to throw away rights and protections for individuals, particularly women, that have been in place for 50 years. So it's all well and good, and I don't say this with cynicism, to find those neighbors that we can feel at one with and talk to and so forth. But let's not fool ourselves that it's the inverse distance squared between you and the inner circle of Trump, where there is a black hole of any possible cooperative discussion or agreement. And so when Kamala says, when we fight, we win, she's saying, and she hasn't told me this, but she's saying we have to fight like mad because of the challenge to our nation, to our Constitution, to our laws, to our women, to blacks, to the ill, the young, and it goes on and on. So we should fight with our eyes wide open that those who are associated with Trump are transactional, not interested in the policy of others, are looking and basically selling their souls to give the wealthy more, and I guess they hope themselves as well, and to make, in the bargain, a dictatorship, with Trump as the non-benevolent, quite malevolent dictator in that place. So we're in notice in recent days, and this only makes the fight more important, that Trump, I think, believes or knows he's losing the groundwork for his challenge to return to office. And this is an existential matter for him. Not meaning his life or death, but whatever freedom he personally would like to have is at risk. And he's going to pull out all the stops to do everything he can before and after the election to see that he comes out on top somehow or other. Now, we've come too far to relax our guard, to think that Trump and his magnates would reciprocate, with kindness and discussion of any sort. So, not to the exclusion of any other speaker at the convention, but Buttigieg hit the point squarely. So did former President Clinton. Tim Walz did. He showed no illusions whatever of what we're up against. Nor was Bernie Sanders at a loss to understand what the fight is about. AOC, same thing. She was out there. And I expect this evening, and I'm talking to you and leaving this message before she speaks, that Kamala will reinforce the idea that she knows we're in a battle that is really about the life and death of our nation, about the soul that concerned Biden, about the individual rights and liberties at risk that people will lose that have been enumerated by the speakers at the convention. So let us not expect reason to reign in these final days when it comes to what's necessary to fight. And when our former First Lady said, when they go low, we go high, well, I believe she's correct about it, but I don't know if she meant it in the way that I take it, which is there's always a remedy for the foul, illegal, unethical, hurtful paths that Trump and his minion, his corrupt minion, take. And those are the ones that we should follow upon. And so we should prepare as we expect they are for the fight for the flag without precedent. As Tim said in his address the other evening, he said from his days at coaching, nobody puts together a game plan they don't intend to use. He was talking about 2025. If there was ever a reason to bring up your fists and to prepare to fight, it is that plan. The feigned ignorance of the plan by Trump, like many other things. And so I think we can expect, given the things that Trump has said, that he may already believe he doesn't have a chance. That should not encourage us to relax. But what we have to do is prepare to fight in the precincts across this nation, particularly in the battleground states, for the dirty dealing that's going to go on when Trump's apparent prediction of failure becomes manifest. And we have to protect us against the blood and gore, violence, coercion, and irritating, outrageous remarks and slanders an incumbent President, Biden, who will not sit in some room looking at a TV while violence runs rampant in the Capitol or any place in the United States. The Commander-in-Chief will be on the job, and this time will kill it in the cradle if there's any violence to be had. So we launch this evening on some quite exciting ideas to remedy for the past, to go forward into the future, and to make a difference for all humankind. Now, isn't that something you'd rather fight for than to fight to discriminate against people, to hurt them, to compromise them, to deny them medical treatment? I think so, and I think you do too. So, enjoy the evening. I think we'll have more of those magic moments. I think that'll be fun, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow. All the best from my Cathedral of Trees. Bye-bye.